Iceman. Bobby Drake is one of the original X-Men, but for decades he was considered a mid-tier mutant who made ice slides and threw snowballs. That changed when Emma Frost possessed his body and revealed his true potential as an Omega-level thermokinetic. Iceman doesn't just create ice. He controls thermal energy itself, manipulating heat and cold at a molecular level. He can transform his entire body into organic ice, making him nearly indestructible and theoretically immortal, since he can reconstitute himself from any available water vapor in the atmosphere. When Emma unlocked his abilities, Bobby demonstrated he could lower temperatures across entire cities, create massive ice constructs spanning miles, and even exist as sentient moisture in the air. His powers are limited only by his own psychological blocks and lack of confidence. In the comics, he's frozen hell itself, created multiple independent ice bodies simultaneously, and approached absolute zero temperatures. The terrifying reality is that Iceman could theoretically trigger an ice age or freeze entire oceans if he fully embraced his Omega-level status. His journey represents the difference between having godlike power and actually understanding how to use it, making him one of the most dangerous mutants alive once he stops holding back. Magneto. Max Eisenhardt, the master of magnetism, is arguably the most iconic Omega-level mutant in Marvel history. Born in Germany and surviving the Holocaust, Eric Lehnsherr's trauma shaped his philosophy that mutants must dominate humanity or face extinction. His power extends far beyond simply controlling metal. Magneto manipulates the entire electromagnetic spectrum, giving him authority over one of the universe's fundamental forces. He can sense and control magnetic fields at a planetary scale, reverse Earth's magnetic poles, and create force fields capable of withstanding nuclear explosions. Magneto has lifted entire cities, manipulated spacecraft in orbit, and even controlled the iron content in human blood to manipulate brain chemistry through bioelectricity. His helmet blocks telepathic attacks, making him nearly unstoppable when combined with his magnetic mastery. He's torn apart Apocalypse's celestial technology, ripped Wolverine's adamantium skeleton from his body, and created magnetic pulses that disabled all technology across continents. At his peak, Magneto perceives reality through electromagnetic wavelengths invisible to normal humans, experiencing the world as fields of energy and magnetic potential. His age, typically depicted in his 70s or older, rarely shows due to various de-aging events throughout Marvel continuity. The purple energy crackling around him when he uses his powers has become one of comics' most recognizable visual signatures, and his red helmet and flowing cape complete the image of mutant kind's most powerful revolutionary. Storm. Aurora Munro commands the weather itself with a thought, making her one of Earth's most powerful Omega-level mutants. Before joining the X-Men, she was worshipped as a goddess in Kenya due to her ability to end droughts and summon life-giving rain. Storm's atmokinesis allows her to manipulate atmospheric pressure, temperature, humidity, and precipitation at a planetary scale, creating hurricanes that span continents, tornadoes that tear through cities, or blizzards that bury entire regions. She can call down lightning from clear skies with pinpoint accuracy, generate winds exceeding 200 miles per hour, and sense weather patterns across the globe. Her powers are intimately connected to her emotional state, meaning stress or anger can unconsciously trigger catastrophic weather events. Storm has manipulated atmospheres on alien planets, created localized weather conditions in single rooms, and once ended a years-long drought with a single storm. She suffers from severe claustrophobia after her parents died when a building collapsed on her family in Cairo, burying her alive beneath rubble for days. When she uses her powers at full strength, her eyes glow pure white, and her hair whips around her in supernatural winds. As an X-Men leader, she represents the ideal that Omega-level mutants can be heroes rather than threats, though her power means she could devastate civilization if she lost control, flooding coastal cities or creating permanent superstorms that would starve entire nations. John Gray. John Gray is an Omega-level telepath and telekinetic even without the Phoenix Force, though her connection to that cosmic entity often overshadows her natural abilities. As one of the founding X-Men, John's powers were so overwhelming that Professor Xavier placed mental blocks on her abilities when she was a child, fearing she couldn't control them. These blocks limited her to Class 3 mutant status for years until trauma and experience gradually broke them down. Jean's telepathy allows her to read and control minds across global distances, connect telepathically to all mutants simultaneously, and create intricate mental landscapes. Her telekinesis operates at a molecular level, meaning she can manipulate matter itself by moving individual atoms and molecules. She's lifted massive objects, created telekinetic force fields capable of withstanding nuclear explosions, and even resurrected herself through pure psionic energy without any external power source. John can create psionic weapons that cut through physical matter and mental defenses simultaneously. Her genetic makeup makes her a natural conduit for the Phoenix Force, which is why the cosmic entity repeatedly chooses her as its host. Throughout her multiple deaths and resurrections, Jean has proven that her base power level qualifies as Omega even when completely separate from Phoenix. When using her abilities at full strength, green and yellow psionic energy radiates from her body, and her eyes glow with power. Her burden is immense. She possesses godlike abilities that scared even her mentor, and her power attracts cosmic entities that view her as a vessel for their purposes. Exodus. Bennett du Paris was born in 12th century France as a crusader, but his mutant powers awakened during an encounter with Apocalypse, transforming him into one of history's most powerful telepaths and telekinetics. After Apocalypse placed him in suspended animation for centuries, Exodus awakened in the modern era and became a fanatical follower of Magneto, worshipping him as the savior of mutant kind. His combination of Omega-level telepathy and telekinesis, refined over centuries of existence, makes him extraordinarily dangerous. Exodus can move entire cities with his mind, create psionic shields that allow him to survive in the vacuum of space, and engage multiple X-Men teams simultaneously in combat. His telepathic abilities rival Professor Xavier's, allowing him to read minds across vast distances, manipulate memories, and crush mental defenses with overwhelming psionic force. He can also enhance other mutants' powers, amplifying their abilities to dangerous levels. Exodus sustains himself through psionic energy, achieving a form of immortality that has allowed him to survive from medieval times to the present day. His medieval mindset combined with mutant supremacy ideology creates a volatile mixture, as he views mutants as the chosen people destined to inherit Earth. The red and silver armor he wears gives him a crusader appearance, and red psionic energy crackles around him when he unleashes his powers. His fanaticism makes him unpredictable, as religious fervor mixed with centuries of experience and godlike power creates a mutant who genuinely believes himself to be executing divine will through violent revolution. Quentin Quire. Quentin Quire, known as Kid Omega, represents the terrifying potential of a teenage Omega-level telepath without emotional control or proper guidance. As a student at the Xavier Institute, Quentin's rebellious nature and punk rock aesthetic, complete with his signature pink mohawk, made him stand out even before his powers fully manifested. When he took the drug kick, which artificially amplified mutant abilities, Quentin's telepathy exploded into Omega-level territory with a unique shotgun style that overwhelmed mental defenses through sheer chaotic force rather than precision. He led a riot at Xavier's school that nearly killed him, and he briefly died, existing as a disembodied psychic entity before returning to physical form. Quentin's telepathic abilities allow him to rewrite personalities and memories, create sentient psionic constructs, split his consciousness across multiple people simultaneously, and manipulate reality perception so thoroughly that victims cannot distinguish his illusions from truth. His range extends across dimensions, and he's powerful enough to have hosted the Phoenix Force on multiple occasions, suggesting a cosmic destiny similar to Jean Grey. Pink psionic energy surrounds him when he uses his powers, and his abilities often manifest in chaotic, unpredictable patterns that reflect his anarchist worldview. Quentin can perceive and manipulate thoughts at speeds that make conventional telepathic combat impossible, simply overwhelming opponents before they realize they're under attack. He represents the next generation of mutants potentially surpassing their predecessors, and his combination of incredible power with teenage impulsivity and rebellious contempt for authority makes him one of the most dangerous Omega mutants alive, despite his youth. Elixir. Josh Foley is an Omega-level biokinetic who controls all biological matter at the molecular level, making him master over life and death itself. Initially, Elixir could only heal injuries and cure diseases with his touch, his skin turning metallic gold when using these abilities. However, after accidentally killing someone, Josh discovered his powers had a dark side, a death touch that turns his skin black and allows him to shut down biological processes instantly. This duality haunts him, as his emotional state determines whether his touch brings life or death. Elixir can manipulate DNA, restructure cellular systems, regenerate any injury, no matter how severe, and cure diseases that other healers consider impossible, including the legacy virus that once threatened all mutants. He can sense biological systems on contact, instantly diagnosing any medical condition, and has even resurrected recently deceased individuals by restarting their biological functions. The visual contrast between his golden healing form and Black Death form represents the moral burden he carries, knowing that his gift can become a curse with a single angry thought. Josh theoretically possesses the power to create entirely new life forms or reshape existing organisms into something unrecognizable. As one of the youngest confirmed Omega-level mutants, his existence suggests that mutation is accelerating, producing more powerful abilities in each generation. His trauma from accidentally killing transformed him from an idealistic healer into someone who understands that godlike power over biology means bearing the weight of every life or death decision, with no margin for error or emotional weakness. Hope Summers. Hope Summers is called the Mutant Messiah because she was the first mutant born after M-Day, the catastrophic event that depowered nearly all of Earth's mutants and stopped new mutant births entirely. Raised in an apocalyptic future timeline by Cable, Nathan Summers from the future, Hope returned to the present as a battle-hardened teenager with Omega-level power mimicry abilities. She can copy and amplify any mutant power she encounters, with no known limits to how many abilities she can hold simultaneously, or how powerful those abilities become when filtered through her. Hope's presence restores and amplifies the powers of nearby mutants, and she triggered the return of mutant births globally, ending the extinction threat that hung over her species. Her distinctive red hair marks her as a natural Phoenix Force candidate, and she has successfully wielded that cosmic entity multiple times without being consumed by it. When mimicking powers, Hope can use dozens of abilities at once, her body surrounded by golden and orange energy that shifts colors depending on which power she's channeling. Her range extends hundreds of feet in all directions, and her power activates instinctively in response to threats, automatically copying whatever abilities she needs for survival. The fact that she can amplify copied powers beyond their original user's capabilities makes her potentially the most versatile Omega-level mutant in existence. Hope's upbringing in a devastated future gave her a warrior's mentality despite her youth, and her combination of tactical training with unlimited power mimicry means she can adapt to any combat situation by simply borrowing the perfect ability for that moment. Proteus. Kevin McTaggart exists as sentient psionic energy that possesses and burns through human bodies, making him one of the few mutants the X-Men genuinely fear. Born as the son of Moira McTaggart, a renowned geneticist, Kevin suffered from severe physical disabilities that trapped his powerful mind in a failing body. When his reality-warping powers emerged during adolescence, he possessed his own father and escaped, beginning a rampage that demonstrated his Omega-level ability to reshape matter, energy, and physical laws themselves. Proteus can transmute elements, alter terrain, warp reality at continental scales, and make geometric impossibilities manifest in three-dimensional space. His glowing white energy form burns through host bodies within days, as the physical matter cannot contain his power, forcing him to constantly seek new vessels. The only substance that disrupts his energy form is metal, which is why Colossus's organic steel body became one of the few effective counters to Proteus's abilities. He has turned Earth into different shapes, reshaped entire cities, and altered fundamental physics in localized areas. His mother kept him imprisoned on Muir Island for years, terrified of what he might do, creating a tragic dynamic where maternal love conflicted with the knowledge that her son was a walking apocalypse. Proteus's fractured psyche and constant body hopping destroyed his sanity, making him unpredictable and increasingly divorced from human morality. He has died and been resurrected multiple times through various means, including the techno-organic virus, and each return brings the same terrifying reality that almost nothing can stop him once he decides to reshape the world according to his mad visions. Mr. M. Absalom Mercator is a relatively obscure but extraordinarily powerful reality warper whose abilities emerged during the genocide he witnessed in his African homeland. The trauma of losing his family in a massacre triggered his Omega-level powers of complete matter and energy manipulation, allowing him to create and destroy matter from nothing, rearrange molecules at thought speed, and perceive reality at the quantum level. Mr. M can transmute any substance into any other, create force fields by hardening air molecules, project devastating energy blasts, and survive indefinitely in the vacuum of space. His cosmic awareness, the ability to perceive the fundamental structure of reality itself, came at a terrible cost to his sanity, as understanding existence at such a deep level disconnected him from normal human concerns and morality. He has vaporized entire armies, restructured matter on massive scales, and attempted to fix the world's problems through reality manipulation, only to discover that his solutions often created worse problems than the originals. Mr. M represents the danger of Omega-level mutants who operate outside established teams like the X-Men, as his power combined with trauma and cosmic awareness makes him unpredictable. The burden of seeing reality's true quantum nature exhausts him constantly, visible in his haggard appearance despite his godlike abilities. His story demonstrates that many powerful mutants exist beyond the famous teams, living in relative obscurity while possessing abilities that could reshape continents. The fact that he tried to help humanity, but failed due to his disconnection from human perspective, makes him a tragic figure rather than a simple villain. Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards, the son of Fantastic Four members Reed Richards and Sue Storm, is possibly the most powerful mutant ever born, with reality-warping abilities that operate at a multiversal scale. During the Onslaught Crisis, Franklin created an entire pocket universe that saved Earth's heroes, demonstrating that he could construct fully functional realities with their own physical laws, timelines, and conscious inhabitants. He has remade Earth multiple times, manipulated time and space, contained Galactus's cosmic power, and even revived the world-devouring entity from death, feats that led Galactus himself to designate Franklin as a future herald. His powers manifest most strongly when protecting loved ones, activating defensively even when he doesn't consciously intend to use them. As a child, Franklin unconsciously created sentient beings, and glimpses of his adult self from possible futures show him wielding multiversal-level power that dwarfs almost every other being in Marvel's cosmology. Recent storylines have created debate about whether Franklin is truly a mutant, or if his abilities stem from celestial tampering on his parents, though historically he was considered Earth's ultimate example of mutant potential. When Franklin uses his powers, his eyes glow with cosmic energy, and entire pocket universes appear as spheres of contained reality in his hands. The contrast between his appearance as a young boy and his godlike abilities creates unique narrative tension, as his heroic family keeps him grounded despite possessing more raw power than most cosmic entities, representing what happens when an Omega-level mutant receives proper guidance and love instead of fear and isolation. Legion. David Haller, son of Professor Charles Xavier, is the most powerful and dangerous mutant in existence due to his dissociative identity disorder, where each of his over 1,000 alternate personalities possesses a different Omega-level mutant power. Born after Xavier's encounter with Gabrielle Haller, David's mind fractured when a terrorist attack killed his stepfather, creating a psychological landscape where distinct personalities emerged, each wielding abilities ranging from reality warping and time travel to telepathy, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, and hundreds of other powers. Legion cannot control which personality manifests at any given moment, and each identity acts independently with its own goals, morality, and appearance, meaning some are heroic, others villainous, and many simply indifferent to human concerns. When his personalities cooperate, Legion becomes nearly omnipotent, but such cooperation is extremely rare. He accidentally created the Age of Apocalypse timeline by traveling back in time to kill Magneto, but murdering his own father instead, demonstrating how his inability to control his powers threatens reality itself. One of his personalities can unmake reality entirely. Another can revise fundamental aspects of existence, and he has defeated multiple Omega-level mutants simultaneously when his combat-oriented personalities take control. Different colored energy emanates from Legion depending on which personality is active, and reality fractures and distorts around him constantly. He is considered too dangerous to cure fully, because eliminating his alternate personalities might mean destroying the unique powers they wield. But leaving him as he is means accepting that a walking apocalypse could erase existence if the wrong personality emerges at the wrong moment, making him the most tragic Omega mutant in Marvel history. Sword True. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now.